This video is later than I intended, but it is not too late to plant these seeds indoors. Welcome back, casual gardeners. I got better, so now it's time to talk about the seeds that I started in February, I think on the 6th, and why I chose to start them indoors. So first of all, let's talk about your seed starting soil. It's just like any other potting soil, except it's got finer particle sizes, so you get better contact with your seed. So I made mine from scratch using 2 parts cocoa coir or peat moss, 1 part vermiculite or perlite, and 1 part compost. And I used a fine bagged compost because the compost I make here in my compost pile is pretty rough. And that's okay, it's just not what I want to start seeds in. There are also a lot of seed starting soils that you can buy pre-mixed, and if you don't have a good mixing soil area in your garden or your home, there's no shame in just buying a premix. Do what works for you, because if you don't, you'll end up not doing anything at all. Now, I really like to start my seeds in soil blocks, and the secret to soil blocks is that just about any seed starting mix will work. My home mix works. The Miracle Grow seed starting bagged soils that I've actually tried soil blocking, they worked really well. I haven't tried a seed starting mix that wouldn't block, as long as I got the moisture content right. Moisture content with your soil blocks is where the rubber really hits the road and where you find out if you're going to have success or frustration. So what you want is enough moisture so that when you squeeze it, water will run out. You want to squeeze it kind of hard, and then when you open your hand, you want it to hold together as a clump. Too little moisture and your soil blocks either won't form or will fall apart. Too much moisture and you're going to get some overcompressed soil blocks, and it's going to actually be hard for your seedlings to get their roots down in there. Now, there are 2 summer crops that we generally start before anything else. That's going to be our peppers and our tomatoes, and only one of those is started right now in February. The other one is going to wait till March. So a lot of pepper varieties take forever to start producing. I have a moderate growing season in terms of the length, but it's still shorter than what I'm used to. So I go out of my way to try to extend my season because I'm used to 1 USDA hardiness zone higher than here. There's still snow melting off my greenhouse because there's that big lead up to production and I want to extend my growing season. Peppers start in February. Now, while it's also important to start tomatoes early if you want to get good production through a moderate duration growing season like mine, if you start tomatoes too early, you're actually going to start running into more problems than you solve by starting early. Larger tomato plants are more likely to suffer transplant shock than smaller tomato plants when it comes time to plant them out. We want the biggest transplants possible because that's going to get us our fruits sooner. But if they're too big, then on the other hand, we're going to actually set them back a few weeks. And if we do that, what have we really gained? The other disadvantage to starting your tomatoes too soon, obviously, is that not everybody has a greenhouse. And even those of us who have greenhouses are probably doing a really great job filling them with plants. I've already filled this whole stupid shelf. And so we have to balance our space that we have versus the space that we need. And tomatoes get really, really big. So if we start them too soon, we may be committing to more space than we've got. Now remember, as you start your tomatoes and your peppers, that they both benefit from using a heat mat. But this year, I was sick enough that I actually forgot to put my peppers on a heat mat, and they came up just fine. So while a heat mat will improve your success starting peppers and tomatoes, it is not 100% necessary to use a heat mat. You're not guaranteed to fail if you don't have a heat mat. So don't let not having a heat mat be a barrier to starting your seeds indoors. Having said that, I can guarantee you will be happier if you get a heat mat. I actually started quite a few perennials from seed this year. And what's great about perennials is that once you've started them, you don't have to start them again because they come back year after year with minimal effort from you, or in this case, from me. So over here, I've got some bee balm. Is it coming up yet? A little bit, a little bit. Now, bee balm is really good in tea. You can also use it as a spice or herb to season desserts and fresh fruit. But it's not just food for me, it's also food for bees. So my big goal with growing bee balm this year is that it's going to go out in my pollinator patch. I'm also growing some rhubarb from seed. It's not up yet at all, and it might take a while because a lot of perennials don't come up very well from seed. Now, most gardeners choose to grow rhubarb from root divisions, and it's really easy to grow from root divisions. The reason I'm not doing it is just because I was ordering seeds and I saw some rhubarb seeds and I said, let's plant some rhubarb seeds and see what happens. I've also planted goji berries, and they are not up yet. I have had success germinating goji berry seeds in the past. I'm hoping to have it again because so I planted my goji berries in clay soil and they stayed waterlogged too much and they got root rot and died is what happened. So I'm going to make sure I'm a little bit more careful this time around. And if I can just get a couple of goji berry plants, that's all I'm going to really need for the rest of my life. Goji is actually a really great plant to grow in Utah if you're into the flavor, and a lot of people are not. It tastes like a cross between a strawberry and a tomato and a little bit of a pineapple, sort of. It's weird. Um, I like them when they're really, really ripe, like riper than you usually find at the store. I'm also growing asparagus from seed, and I'm actually quite excited about that because it's come up really well. Most gardeners choose to plant asparagus crowns and not to grow seedlings. But okay, first of all, I spent like $4 on those seeds and I have started 20 of them and I could have started more. So in terms of cost efficiency, seeds are just better. Also, last time I grew asparagus, I grew them from crowns. And I just don't want to dig two 18-inch deep trenches again, especially not in this soil, which is even harder to dig in than my last garden's soil. You'll get asparagus a year or two sooner if you grow from crowns. I'm going to have to wait either way. I'm choosing the non-trenching method. Now, the thing about chives is you can't have too many chives. I collected some chive seeds last year and I wondered, can I get them to grow? Where's my chives? The answer is yes. Cool thing about chives is that they're not just a really great herb for seasoning our food, they're also really pretty. And you can just slide them in any kind of garden. You don't have to put your chives in a herb garden. They can go in a flower garden. You can have a decorative border of chives. And they're a really great pollinator plant too. And they're a perennial that comes back year after year and just gets bigger every time. It also turns out that it's super easy to collect their seeds and to grow more chive plants. So, I mean, this is probably not the last year I'll be starting chives from seed just because I can start chives from seed and I'm never going to run out of places to put more chives. Now, I also thought I'd start some blackberry lilies from seed this year because they are a beautiful drought-tolerant flower. In fact, my first blackberry lily I had in my old garden, I had gotten from a native plants store in southern Utah. I don't know where I'm going to put my blackberry lilies yet. This was a impulse purchase, but I'm sure there'll be a place, even if I just throw them out in the pollinator patch. Now, columbine is my wife's favorite flower, and I've already got columbines both in my vegetable garden and in my front garden. But because it's so easy to collect columbine seeds, I thought, why not plant some more columbine seeds? And so I collected, and so I planted. we'll see how it goes. They did not get a stratification period, and Columbine really needs seed stratification, so they may not have success with it this year. I did start one annual flower this month. The flower I started this month is Snapdragons, and they already look really great. So Snapdragons are another annual flower that is super easy to collect seeds from and to start from seed indoor. Obviously, they don't need stratification because they're going nuts. They are small seeds. I don't even know if I'm going to thin them. We will see. I just am casually having more Snapdragons. So I bought Snapdragons at a big box store last year with the intention of collecting the seeds. The one downside from growing Snapdragons from seeds you've collected is that they do have a kind of dominance when it comes to color. It's an incomplete dominance. So for example, white Snapdragons plus red Snapdragons equals pink Snapdragons. But you are going to wind up over enough generations with just one color of Snapdragon. If you like red Snapdragons, you're in luck. But if you like different colors of Snapdragons, you may want to buy seeds occasionally to add to your Snapdragon gene pool just to keep getting a variety of colors. When vegetables are cold hardy enough that I can transplant them out in March, I really like to give them a head start in February here in my greenhouse. And I have started quite a few vegetables. Now you can also direct sow all of these vegetables 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date if you don't have space indoors to start them indoors. So do not stress yet. You're going to be okay. I live in a higher latitude, so I planted long day bulbing onions. If you live in a lower latitude or closer to the equator, you should instead plant short day bulbing onions. Now I've chosen to grow Utah yellow sweet Spanish onions, or put those in whatever order you want. It is the Utah state onion, and I live in Utah. And that tells me that at least one of our Utah state legislators might be an ogre. Now, last year I compared growing onions from sets versus onions from seeds, and I found that I had about the same success between the two, but I not so much direct sown. In my garden, I suck at growing onions from direct sown, so I have started them indoors, and a couple of them have started to come up. Kohlrabi is the easiest non-kale cole crop that I can grow in my garden, and I don't like kale, so I always grow kohlrabi. Last year, I grew a variety of kohlrabi that got big. Like, if I'd taken better care of it, it could have gotten as big as my head. I found that I don't love committing to spending a whole week eating one vegetable, not one type of vegetable, one vegetable. I mean, that one piece of kohlrabi would provide many servings of vegetables, and that's a bigger commitment than I want. I also found it was a little bit woodier than I like. You can grow super schmelz kohlrabi and not have it woody, but it takes more care, and I'm a casual gardener. So this year I have started a smaller variety of kohlrabi that I'm gonna be harvesting when it's between the size of a golf ball and a baseball. And that's okay. It's still gonna be delicious, and I don't have to make as big a commitment. Also, because the leaves don't have to get as big, the leaves will be more tender too if I want to eat my foliage. Probably gonna feed them to my chickens. Now, lettuce is a staple in my garden. It is one of the easiest things for anyone to grow. It grows well in containers, it grows well in the ground, it grows well indoors, it grows well outdoors. The only time lettuce struggles at all is in the summer, and with the judicious use of shade, you can extend your lettuce growing even into the summer months. I might just pull some inside because it might be easier. I mean, lettuce is so easy to grow. It's right up there with peas as like one of my favorite gateway gardening plants, like a plant to get people hooked on gardening. So if you're out there trying to, get people hooked on gardening, if peas don't work, try lettuce. Now, one thing that's really great about growing our own lettuce is that homegrown lettuce, after I harvest it, will last about a week and a half to 2 weeks in the refrigerator. Whereas if I were to buy lettuce at the grocery store, which I haven't had to do for several months because I've been growing lettuce in this greenhouse through the winter, if I were to buy it there, I'm lucky if it lasts a whole week. Most of the time, it gets slimy after just like 4 or 5 days. Now, I usually direct sow radishes, but I was all excited to try growing these black Spanish radishes. But it turns out I made a mistake. I did not completely read the seed packet until a little bit later. This is a fall radish. I don't know what it's going to do having been planted in the spring, but I got great germination. So we're going to have an adventure finding out together. Now, if turns out I screwed up on my black Spanish radishes, I did collect a lot of Easter egg radish seeds. They're a smaller radish that matures in just 30 days. And so I'm going to get radishes this spring, whether or not it's these radishes. I'm going to direct sow my Easter egg radishes in March. My favorite thing about radishes is that they're a super awesome spring crop. I never plan my radishes because you can get them in and out of your garden before your summer crops are going to go in. So they're just kind of a freebie. You can just slap some radishes wherever you want, and it does not do anything to your gardening schedule. You can direct sow spinach, and I'm probably going to direct sow some spinach as well. But the number one mistake that most gardeners make when it comes to growing spinach is that we do not plant our spinach soon enough. Spinach is, along with arugula, one of those crops that is most likely to bolt as the days get longer and warmer. And so there's kind of a narrower growing window, especially if you live in a climate like most of Utah, where springs are very short and we just have a very long winter and a very long summer. Beets are a vegetable that people either love or hate. And luckily, my wife and I agree that we love beets. I like to start some beets indoor and then direct sow some more beets in March, just so I get a couple of harvests of beets. If they're growing in full sun, you can get them out of the way before a lot of your summer crops, but not all of your summer crops. It does take a little bit longer to grow a beet. And if you're growing in part shade, it'll take longer still. I made that mistake last year. Now keep in mind with beets that each one seed is actually multiple seeds. So only plant one seed per hole and expect to get 2 to 4 seedlings anyway. Whether or not you thin those is up to you. There are mixed opinions on it. Because I'm a casual gardener, I generally don't. And that's it. That's everything that I have planted. Whatever you're growing this year, I hope that you have success with it and it doesn't turn you off gardening, because I need you to watch my videos, man. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. Every subscription takes me just a little bit closer to being able to quit my crappy day job. And I really want to, otherwise I wouldn't call it crappy. Make sure you ask any questions you have in the comments or make corrections. I like to be corrected because that means I'm learning stuff. Asking questions or making corrections in the comments doesn't just help you and me. It can also help other people who may not have time or inclination to ask the question, but are still wondering it. And it certainly helps me a lot by tickling that algorithm and letting it know that you're engaged. You can be engaged in other ways too. I'm not going to judge you. I was obviously engaged at least once because now I'm married. Thank you so much for joining me here in my greenhouse, my garden today. I hope you have a wonderful time in your own garden.